Come on, right here. I want you to show him how good you know how to mime me. Come on. I'm waiting on you to throw your ball back to you, boy. Bring it on back. He just studying right now. Come on, boy. He got to do a little meditating. You know how dogs is and all. They have to think a little bit. Ponder the whole situation. Cause he. Oh, Joby, what you doing, dog? Joby, that's the nastiest thing I ever seen you do is bring your ball. This shit gonna get on your ball. Bring it on back. Oh, boy. No, you making a mess. Oh, good night. No, crank that car up, girl. Crank that car. Get me all out of here. I ain't taking that shit dog out with me.
What the hell did you expect? What the hell did you expect?
What are we really doing here?
You go first.
Oh, you started, no interrupt.
Okay. We're the Stomp
Actually, we enjoy it. Oh, that's crazy. I go do a bunch of wrestling and hurt myself and I hurt him.
That's not going to be good for business. That's not going to be good for anybody.
I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me.
So I'm nervous, but I'm excited at the same time. So I'm just gonna start talking about what I like and hope I get some replies.
All those moments lost in time, like tears in rain.
You motherfucker. You got me all emotional before we started our show now. What the hell are you doing?
Hello and welcome to the final edition of What the Hell Did You Expect? This is episode number 35 in the Collector's Series. I am your host, Kevin Ryan, weighing in this week at 195 pounds. And again, with me for the final time, I guess, is Colin Suplee.
Okay, seriously? I don't think I'll be able to ever watch Blade Runner again without hearing our theme song in the back of that scene. It's a little disconcerting, I must say. Like, he's all being sad and the music is swelling and then in the background, da 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 da, or however the fuck our theme goes. Yeah. We're sorry that the stream isn't working and that this is the last shitty episode ever.
I mean, on the plus side, this is the last shitty episode you'll ever have to listen to.
Because this is also the last episode we'll ever be making of this, so...
Hey, did we mention this is our last episode? This is our last episode. In case you were still wondering, in case that wasn't made clear enough already, this is the last one.
We are recording on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, which is unusual
when no
for
one's
us.
here. Just kind of ramshackled, thrown everything together because our equipment has been dead for the past week and a half, and we haven't been able to record proper.
I think there would usually be someone in here, but for the fact that it's finals week right now.
Yeah.
Which is, actually really nice. I mean, how's your finals week been, actually?
It's all right. I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done.
Cool.
I finished up today with a chem final that I was stressing for, and then I got in there and finished it in an hour. And I was like,
Excellent.
It wasn't any big deal.
Yeah. No, that's great.
I got to make it to work because of that, and got an extra shift, some more money. Yay.
Cool.
Love money.
Yeah, no, I'm done too. I mean, I just had the one final to do for my romantics class, and that went pretty well. Our professor pulled kind of a dick move by giving us an extra credit sheet. There were literally 9 questions, 9 extra credit questions.
Yeah.
Each of them worth 2 points with a max you could earn of 4 points.
Yeah.
And all of them were such obscure references to things we maybe talked about for 2 minutes in class once.
Jeez. Oh, Kurt Faso.
So what I did, one of the extra credit questions was, what day, month, and year was the French Revolution started?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I know that's in 1789.
Yeah.
But I don't know the day and the month. So I excused myself to the bathroom and looked it up on my phone.
You douche.
Well, it's 2 points of extra credit, man.
You merry prankster. That's actually kind of funny and kind of endearing. And Kurt Foster will be like, he cheated, totally cheated. His entire test is void now. You can't do that. Oh.
I mean, it's not like I could cheat on the actual test,
Yeah.
you know, but I mean, I feel like one, since it was extra credit, meh, whatever, and two, since it's such a stupidly specific extra credit question.
What are we talking about, Yamafud?
Extra credit. Extra credit.
I'll get that rabbit.
You only need 6 words. What I learned in boating school is.
What I learned in boating school is how to stop at a red line.
How to drive. You can actually see in that episode SpongeBob starts writing how to drive
Yeah.
and then crosses out the word drive and then just starts doodling all over the place. It's funny. I may have been watching a bit of SpongeBob recently. I bought Sid Meier's Pirates.
Really?
Yeah, for PC again on Steam last night? Yeah, I bought it like last night, or maybe 2 nights ago. I don't know. I used to play the shit out of that game as like a middle school, high schooler.
Yeah.
And loved that game so much.
I'm not actually sure I know what you're talking about. Sid Meier's Pirates?
Yeah, it's like Sid Meier is a guy who's done a lot of different like kind of simulator-ish games. Like there's Sid Meier's Cities, and there's Sid Meier Golf, and like Sid Meier Pirates.
Yeah.
I don't know, he's a game developer, I guess, or something like
something.
that. But so this game, it actually takes place in like the Caribbean in the late 1700s, in like the age of piracy and stuff, I guess, and it's actually in many ways pretty factually accurate about
That's cool.
like the sort of politics that were happening and all the pirates who were around, and on the other hand, just totally campy and ridiculous, and all of the animations are super 2004.
Yay.
And it's great. Or maybe it's like 2007 or something, but it's mid-2000s animation, and it still holds up pretty damn well.
Yeah,
I love the shit out of that game.
I mean, I don't know, like Metal Gear Solid 3 and Resident Evil 4 came out in the mid-2000s, and they still look really good today, so...
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I just remembered today, like an hour ago when I was playing it, right before I ate dinner, is that there's a really weird, like all good mid-2000s computer games, there are plenty of mini games within the game that you need to do. There's like the ship battle mini game, and then there's like the fencing mini game, and all of those are pretty fun. There's one mini game, the dancing mini game, where like one of your options when you go to a city or a town is to meet with the governor, and if you're like a high enough rank, you can ask his daughter to the dance that night, and there will be like some weird classical music that plays, and this dance thing mini game where basically your character is instructed what way to move. Like it uses the number pad on the keyboard, so like the woman who you are dancing with gives you a hand motion that corresponds with something on the keypad, and you just press that, and that's it. And it's inane and boring, and oh my god, I hate it, but you have to do it.
It reminds me a lot of like old computer games I used to play, like fucking Rita Rabbit Goes to Space and bullshit like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. They weren't all putt-putts, you know?
Yeah, no, they weren't all putt-putts. There was also like Freddy the Fish.
Freddy the Fish. We already had an episode about Freddy the Fish. Let's not talk about fucking Freddy the Fish again.
Or Spy Fox, wasn't that his name?
Fox Spy. Spy Fox. Star Fox.
Mulder.
Fox Mulder. I watched an episode of the X-Files
Firefox.
again the other day.
Cool.
And,
Which episode?
An episode where Fox Mulder has to track down an alien bounty hunter who's trying to hunt down his sister, who actually turns out to be an alien imposing as a sister when it's not actually a sister, and they have a fight on top of a submarine in the Arctic Circle.
I don't remember that one.
It's midway through season 2, and I forgot how much I love that show and how much I've been falling behind on it. I also started Avatar season 3, finally,
Dude.
following up on that conversation we had like 12 shows ago.
Yeah, like 2 months later.
And I forgot how awesome season 3 is. Though, I'm a little frustrated by the pacing, but that's just...
Yeah, the pacing is not great, especially in the middle.
Yeah, those first few episodes are a little not, like, I don't know. They're fine, and I like them as mostly just, like, you know, fluffy character pieces, whatever.
Right.
But, like, it doesn't really start to, like, pick up. Like, the first episode is really dramatic. It's, like, really, like, oh my god, heavy-hitting shit. And it kind of goes back to their flying around, fucking around a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then it goes, like, from there it transitions more into, like, the... oh my god, stuff's going down with when you see Avatar Roku and Fire Lord Sozin's backstory.
Right, there's a lot of exposition,
Yeah.
which also is weird for pacing.
Yeah.
And then in like the last few episodes, everything just gets like accelerated so much
Yeah.
plot-wise. And Aang just, for some reason, finds a turtle thing.
Giant turtle.
Oh hey, look, a lion turtle, and that just Deus Ex Machinas all his problems away.
Yeah.
Which I've always, I mean, I understand that ending, and I actually like it, but I can't help but be a little bit frustrated.
That they didn't set up the lion turtle thing.
Yeah.
The lion turtle's fine. I don't have a problem with the lion turtle.
Well,
I have a problem with when he flies backwards and hits his scar on a rock, and that unlocks the Avatar state again. That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever, it's cool.
Yeah. I
He
don't
gets
know.
to go Super Saiyan on Ozai's ass.
Yeah, it's just, I guess it's not necessarily the lion turtle that gets me. It's just the fact that he's never had any sort of training in this thing before, and now it reminds me of the scene in The Matrix when they need to fly a helicopter.
Yeah.
So someone just like puts a CD in and they're like, okay, let's
I
go.
think it's actually a floppy drive. Like, that's how old that is.
Is it really a floppy disk?
Because it's trying to look kind of retro-y, so it's like this CD floppy disk kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they stick that in the machine. I never thought I'd say this, but watching Avatar, I miss Korra. Like the character Korra.
Ooh.
It's weird. Like,
Really?
I miss
How
her.
do you mean? What
'Cause
do you mean by that?
She's... It might just be that she's more entertaining to me at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, at least for me, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Just in that Korra is much closer to us in age and has a lot of, you know.
She's more relatable to me at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree in many ways with that.
That said, I think if Korra had shown up, I think they would have defeated the Fire Lord a lot earlier than they actually did, because Korra's a beast. But just that all that, like, say what you will about Korra not having a giant overarching story, at least those seasons are really, really tightly paced, even when they're dumb and stupid, like in season 2, and nothing makes any sense.
Yeah.
Seasons 3 and 4 are, like, solid, and there's no meandering, and there's no filler episodes. And I kind of miss that. And I'm kind of starting to realize that there kind of is no happy, perfect Avatar story. They're all just... They pick different sides of a coin to go to extremes on, and it's like...
Right.
Oh, my nostalgia goggles are coming off, and it's kind of frustrating. Just a little bit, but I still really, really like season 2.
You know, I think it's possible to be critical of something while also being nostalgic about it, though.
Yeah, definitely. I'm eternally critical. Like, I think I'm giving Avatar a hard time. Like, a little harder, like, a little more disappointment, because I've kind of touted it as the greatest fucking thing in the world for so long. Whereas stuff like, I don't know, like Digimon, like, I knew that was, like, not perfect storytelling when I was younger, and now I can still enjoy it and be like, wow, this is kind of terrible. But it's still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in sort of a similar place with some of my nostalgia feels. I was recently rewatching some Samurai Jack,
Yeah.
which is an excellent show, especially in terms of art direction.
Oh yeah.
It's wonderful, but I don't know. I guess I just sort of realized how similar a lot of those episodes end up being.
Yeah.
I mean, for as much as they try to do a lot of different variety, it always, well, not always, but a fair amount of those episodes end up being pretty similar.
Like Jack finds a thing, Jack fights a thing.
Yeah.
Jack can't get back to the future, or back to the past, or whatever.
Yeah, back to the past to
Mhm.
defeat Aku before everything goes to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Back to the past. Samurai Jack.
Yeah. No, and also about Avatar, though, I mean, I got done with Avatar The Last Airbender months ago, like when we were having our talks about it and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
But then I kept putting off watching Korra because I really didn't want to watch the first 2 seasons. And I still have been putting it off, and now I think that might be my motivation. What you just said is going to be my motivation
Really?
to get back into it, about how it's two sides of the same coin, more or less. I don't know. I think there's a lot to be got from Korra. I mean, the 3rd and 4th season goes without saying,
Yeah.
and I still think I like those better than the original Avatar: The Last
Yeah, that's
Airbender
fair.
series.
I mean, I might come out in that opinion too. That would be fucking shocking, but it might happen. Because, like, God, I don't know. Like, now that I think about it, like, there's just, the more I watch these characters, maybe I'm just too used to them. I don't know. Like, they're starting to get a little predictable and a little, like, not as engaging to me. And I'm starting to remember, like, when I was younger, like, I think part of the reason I liked it so much, like Avatar, is kind of because it lent itself so well to expanded universe, like, fan theory and stuff. As well as the high points of it were, like, fucking phenomenal. Like, it spikes like no other show I've ever watched, just in the good parts. Where it's good, it's really good. Like, those season finales and stuff are just amazing. But I don't know, like, I'm finding, like, I hear Sokka talk and I'm like, man, I miss Varric. You know? And it's just like, it's like he's useful, adult, cynical Sokka. And, like, I like that. But I'm like, I also just, I don't know. And Toph is, well, okay, Toph is my favorite character, so it's like, hooray. But I don't know. I'm having mixed feelings, and I'm trying to, like, I'm always, like, trying to put one over the other, and that's really not, like, a healthy way to go about it either.
Yeah, probably not. And, I mean, especially since they are such vastly different shows, not only in just... I mean, we identified earlier in this season of What the Hell Did You Expect, that there was a pretty distinct difference in art style between Korra and the original Avatar.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a really big difference in narrative style too.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Which,
easily.
you know, and I think that's why, I mean, yeah, they are part of the same universe and part of the same mythos, and, you know, should probably be watched in conjunction and compared to some extent.
Yeah.
But because they are such different animals in terms of what they are as a show, in terms of narrative style and art direction, and even, you know, even down to the little details, like how they animate like giant mecha tanks.
Yeah.
It's a really different animal in the same school.
Yeah.
I
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. It's like the two different styles of art, but that are drastically... No, it's the same, like, under the same school, but it's like two different pupils doing very different things with it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think is... You know, as you say that, that's also actually just a really good way to think about the two avatars, Avatar
Yeah.
Aang and Avatar Korra.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that Avatar Aang lived in this time period with this sort of stuff going on in the world around him,
Yeah.
and that Avatar Korra lives in a different time with different stuff, and you know, not only are they products of their time, but they're also you know, active members of changing their time as the Avatar,
Yeah.
and I think that actually makes it. I think that makes it better, especially in terms of individualizing each of the avatars by
Yeah.
giving an individual style to the two different shows.
Yeah. Like there's a huge difference, and I think part of it is right now I'm kind of craving a show that has a different kind of like narrative focus. Like part of the reason Aang is so compelling is because he's a peaceful, non-violent, vegetarian, like fun-loving kid in a world that demands him to be a violent warmonger.
Right.
Everybody wants him to murder the Fire Lord and establish an order and have a little like stability, whereas Korra is a violent like martial prowess kind of avatar in peacetime.
Right.
She's like a powerful warrior after the war's over kind of thing. And she's also incredibly world unsavvy. Like she's totally closeted, at least in the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
Which is a different kind of like struggle, and I'm really interested in that. Like right now, like just like I feel like I can relate to that a little more. Like as much as you can relate to like avatars of your planet, god characters.
Yeah, but I mean, still, she's got a very relatable aspect in terms of, you know, she's not particularly good at diplomatic stuff, not because she doesn't try, but because she doesn't really know how, and at least for the first season or two, it seems like she doesn't even really care that much.
Yeah.
She just sort of wants to do what she wants to do, you know, other forces be damned.
Yeah.
Which, in a lot of ways, is really cool to see in juxtaposition to Avatar Aang, who is really kind of an expert at diplomacy in a lot of ways.
Which is also interesting to me because, like, I find part of the reason I don't like the first two seasons of Korra, at least in hindsight, because I haven't seen either of them in a very long time, is that actually I think it's probably only been a year since I've seen season 2 again, but just the show is too nice to Korra.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, very consistently, the universe conspires to make Korra right about things.
When she probably objectively shouldn't be.
No, and I think like season 3 and 4 are good because they kick her around and show her that's not how the world works. But I think that material should have been in seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah, you just articulated what I've been frustrated with and trying to articulate for so long.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That Korra in the first 2 seasons is so stubborn and no, I'm gonna do it this way.
Yeah.
And everything ends up working out more or less for her.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, maybe this is the way it is with other people's worlds and experiences, but that's not the way anything has ever worked out in my experience. If I'm stubborn about something, it will usually come back to bite me in the ass because the world isn't just going to do what I want it to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you're totally right in saying that that seasons 1 and 2 Korra is kind of getting away with not being grounded.
Yeah. And on some level, okay, this also, like, it always has to come back to this, but it's just the way it was made. Like, the restrictions on the Korra writing team that were there from the beginning and how they totally got screwed over by Nickelodeon and, like, with, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. All of that really forces their hand, and I think season 1 actually does a pretty good job of, like, giving Korra, like, some stakes, but then because they didn't know they had more seasons, they had to wrap it up and have Korra resolve and, like, you know, rise to the top again by the end, even if she didn't learn too much.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas that's only when we got to season 3 was she able to, like, actually, like, get her ass handled. Like, where was her PTSD after getting bloodbended by Amon? Amon is terrifying. Like, he's a really good villain because he's so fucking scary, like, even now. And he's just, like, he's Darth Vader. He's bloodbending, murderous Darth Vader. And where was her like, oh God, what's going on? Fuck. Because we know she has that kind of self-loathing, fuck, I can't do this, like, anger in her, because it comes out in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, like, after Zahir and all that, that's how she reacts. So why didn't she react that way in season? It's just, like, because writing is hard. That's why.
Yeah, that's very true. And I guess that's sort of the weird nuance of writing a TV show in our day and age, is that it's hard to conceive of something from beginning to end. And, you know, even when you think you have a direction that you're going, things change and your writing changes and your direction changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that on not even like a TV script writing level. Just like on my honors thesis this semester, I ended up doing that so much, you know, and there were so many just technical things about, oh, this is how much time you have, and this is what you're doing, that influenced what I was writing and how I was writing it and what I was thinking about. I think that totally holds water, that theory.
Yeah, definitely. I've experienced the same thing. As you may be aware, I have been trying to write and put together these massive stories that I've wanted to, like, my experience with writing, like, fiction and narrative and, like, all these exciting escapism things, like, I've been trying to do since I was, like, 13. But it always ended up where I would, like, plan too much, or I would, like, try and have too much of a goal, and by the time I wrote like, a 1,000-page outline in Word, I didn't want to write the story anymore, because I already wrote it. It's right there. It's written as, like, as a Wikipedia article instead of, like, a book.
Right.
And I just, like, I kept going, like, having a plan is just so hard. So, like, my current webcomic project that I'm working on right now, called Red Winter, which is about some immigrants living in a small American, like a small town in, like, southeastern Washington, and they all know Kung Fu, and Cthulhu shows up at some point, and it's really, really scary and freaky and kind of Lovecraftian. All that is, like, I'm just writing by the seat of my pants. Like, there is no plan. It's just, like, I have this set of characters, and I'm just writing, and, like, oh, that's a good idea. I'll just throw it in, and we'll see where it happens. Like, because I always started out, like, I want an epic, but I didn't want to get there, so I'm trying to force myself into a writing situation now where I'll have an epic if I just keep making it for a couple of years, as opposed to trying to make an epic from the beginning.
Right. I think that's a really good way to approach it. I mean, there's probably some sort of sweet spot balance between
definitely
planning and just winging it, and I think DMing for D&D has, at least for me, really got me better tuned into that balance of
definitely.
How much I need to plan a plot versus how much I can just throw out on the fly. Actually, you might be interested, well, I don't know if this is like critical theory, like, you know, English lit critical theory stuff, but I know that F. Scott Fitzgerald was definitely a fan of not really planning his plots too much. His sort of deal was that he would just create some characters and then wind them up and let them go.
Yeah.
You know, and record whatever their interactions were with each other for the most part.
Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind by Hayao Miyazaki is also a really good example of that.
Yeah.
And that's like a 2,000-page manga thing that was published over 10 years in 15-page chunks every week.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's what, like, stuff like that's just incredible, where it's like, it's this amazing, like, thematically rich document, but he had no idea what the fuck he was doing. He was just writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting too, just on like an artistic level, the fact that not knowing what you're doing in some ways makes it much more rich. Like, I know that I've, in some of the things I've written, I've probably unintentionally put in a lot more symbolism or like theme or whatever. I've probably put a lot more into it than I'm initially aware of as I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I know I've had it happen to me before, you know, after I write a poem and I send it to someone being like, here, you know, read this, tell me what you think. And they'll be like, oh, I thought this thing and this thing and this thing. I was like, I wasn't thinking about any of those things.
Yeah. Now I feel that. I haven't actually gotten a lot of critical feedback of my comic projects specifically, because I don't think many people actually know they exist. But, like, as I go forward and hopefully, like, continue to work on this and make this my main project, like, you know, because I'm out of college now, We're out of college now. What the fuck?
In a few days.
I mean, we have to graduate first,
yeah,
but
we have to sit there for a few hours and then walk in a line up to a stage and then receive a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Actually, we're not even receiving the diploma.
No, we're getting the box for the diploma.
Yeah, we're
and they'll
getting
mail
the
us the
diploma
diploma.
holder. Which is such a just give me the fucking diploma already.
I know, really.
Uh,
But yeah, it's not even like, it's when I say like not knowing what you're doing, it's not knowing what you're doing. It's like not having the steps planned, I guess, because it's really about like knowing your people that are in the story and then thinking really like being really present and thinking really critically about what they would do given the circumstances that you're throwing at them. Exactly. And that's actually a really, really intense process for me anyway. Like trying like, all right, that no, they wouldn't do that. Yes, they would do that. Blah 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 blah, and just like actually trying to get that right to create a sense of dynamic character, just like from actions from the beginning of a story, as opposed to opening with exposition or something, which I'm loath to do. Yeah.
That's always been something I've been pretty good at. Is just not even just with characters, but with people in general. I've always been pretty good at reading people and getting a good idea for Colin would do this or Colin wouldn't do that. So that when it comes time to write a piece of fiction and I create a few characters in my head, I can be like, oh, I can read these characters that even though they're constructs of my mind are not me. And I can pretty easily see, oh, they're going to go do this thing, and then if they did that and this happened, then they would do that thing. I don't know. That all comes pretty naturally to me. I guess I kind of take it for granted a lot of the time when I'm writing.
Yeah. Like I'm writing a story in the modern world right now, and I'm trying to figure out how the hell if this town is so shitty that they're in, why are they still there? I'm really having I guess I just have to make them unable to access transportation somehow, or
not necessarily that. I mean, you could just have it so that they don't have the means to leave, they don't have any outside connections.
Yeah.
I mean, for a lot of people, that's a pretty big reason why you don't leave somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just because you don't have any sort of connection to anywhere else.
Yeah.
Or you just flat out don't have the money, or don't have the ability to relocate for whatever reason.
Yeah.
There are plenty of circumstances that you could cook up for that. Mm-hmm. Without making it sort of the stereotypical, well, I love my small town and I'm never going to leave.
No, fuck that. That would be a completely unrealistic perspective for these people to take. And I don't want to talk about exactly what I'm talking about for the fear of ruining the surprise with this story, which I think is actually okay so far. I have 12 pages of it drawn and inked. And eventually I'm going to start releasing them slowly on my website. Not that... I guess I do technically have a website, colinsipley.cleanfolio.com, but it's a temporary portfolio thing, whatever. Websites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Websites are weird.
Yeah. I need to I don't want to pay Squarespace $10.
Squarespace!
Shut the fuck up. Okay, no. I already like Squarespace. I don't need them to advertise at me anymore.
I know. Literally everything I listen to is underwritten by Squarespace or sponsored by Squarespace.
To be fair, they are actually a really good website company.
No, I'm sure they are. It's
wish
just,
they'd stop.
Yeah, it's definitely annoying. Hey, speaking about, well, I guess it's not annoying or anything.
Yeah.
But it's something that's pretty continuous.
Okay, seriously? What is there to talk about?
Well, I mean, I know as we were at dinner last night, we talked a bit about some spoilery stuff.
For Game of Thrones Season 5, Episode 4.
Right.
Yes. What about it?
I mean, I didn't continue talking about it because Natalie came back and I didn't want to just only talk about Game of Thrones spoilers.
Cool, so what's on your mind?
But I wanted to go back to our, the fan theory about Jon Snow.
Okay. What about it? It's true. There. It's not a theory.
Okay. No, that's all I need.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, no, it has not been confirmed as true.
No, it has not been.
But it is.
But there's so many hints at it. Well, and Okay, I guess what I'm mostly wondering is how would that be, like, within the book and or show, how would that be revealed and how would that be used? I mean,
They have a really good opportunity now. Without revealing what happens to Jon Snow at the end of Book 5, and stuff does happen to Jon Snow at the end of Book 5, their circumstances will convene to have that information revealed. I don't know if he'll ever know. But there is someone who knows.
wait a second, Maester Aemon, isn't he a Targaryen?
Yeah, Aemon Targaryen.
Yeah. And technically then, if Jon Snow were the son of Rhaegar and
Lyanna.
Lyanna, he would be shoestring related to Aemon.
Yeah, without talking about that too much more, that's probably not gonna happen.
What?
Just don't worry about it.
What?
Don't worry about it.
What's probably not gonna happen?
Aemon and Jon having a bonding son and great-great-great-grandfather talk.
Yeah, no, I didn't figure that would happen. I mean, I know Maester Aemon's probably gonna die soon.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay. My suspicions are very confirmed now.
I have no idea how they're gonna handle that in the show, because they haven't even fucking dealt with that in the show at all yet.
Also, I was so sad about Sir Barristan and Grey Worm.
Okay, that pisses me off. Barristan Selmy does not die in the book. He is very important for end of Book 5, beginning of Book 6.
To be fair,
Yeah.
we don't know by the end of the 4th episode if he's died.
Yeah.
He's definitely very badly injured.
Yeah. Also, in the books, he would have been able to kill all of those guys and not have been injured.
Yeah.
Just saying. But,
I mean, he's a pretty fucking formidable knight.
yeah, he's scary. And he wasn't wearing any armor either, which is so fucking impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But just, that scene hurt. Like, it was really brutal, because it's like, I know he's not going to die. Wait, oh fuck. Oh shit. Are they ooh, my heart. They're hurting my heart.
Yeah.
I have no emotional connection to Grey Worm. He's a side character. It's like, whatever. I wish they'd spend time on other things than him and Missandei, but who is 11 in the books, which makes her super weird. But, it's just, everyone's younger. But Barristan can't die. He's so important. He's super important for the Marine stuff that's gonna happen, or might not happen.
You know, I think what we were talking about earlier with the world being too kind to Korra
Yeah.
is similarly happening with the world being a little too kind to Daenerys.
Yeah, okay.
Because she probably should have been, like, assassinated or something. Like, some bad shit should have probably happened to her
Yeah.
by now, and it still really hasn't.
I mean, she had her child aborted by Satan. That's pretty bad. And her
Yeah.
first husband was a scary rapist. That's pretty bad.
That's also bad. I don't know. I just think
That said, she got thrown a lot of bones when she, like, hired, Strong Bellis and, like, all of and everybody, and, like, actually got the companies under her control and, like, took Astapor and Yunkai
Yeah.
and now Marine. So, that's, like, it is mostly resolved in the book. Her dealings with Marine. That is resolved in a way in the book, in one sense. Not entirely. So it is leading up to something that's pretty satisfying and cool. I mean, I think it's all but confirmed at this point that Tyrion is going to meet up with Dany at this point in Season 5.
yeah.
Which never happened in the book, and is totally out of awesome. I'm so happy that's going to happen. That's great. That's super cool. I love it. I want that to happen. I want them to chat.
You know, I know a lot of people are getting all sort of righteously indignant about things that are happening in the series, like the TV series, are not the way they happened in the book. But even as someone who hasn't read the books,
Yeah.
I actually kind of like that, because
No, I like that too.
it makes it a whole different animal. It makes it, again, like Avatar and
Yeah.
Korra, it makes it, I mean, definitely the same universe, but because they're using a different narrative style,
Yeah.
i.e. TV show,
Yeah.
they have to use it in a way that, makes sense, and they get to use it in a way to do different and interesting things that wouldn't work in the book or just weren't in the book for whatever reason.
I'm fine with it because it gives me more Game of Thrones that's also different from what I've already read. Like, I don't want books 4 and 5 televised. I don't. I can just read the books again. I want an interesting, different version that's like someone else's take.
Yeah.
Which is why I love it when, like, comic books are adapted so differently. Like, anime does this all the time, where you'll have the manga that's going to be going for 500 chapters, and then the show just goes in a completely different direction. It's like, that's cool. I wish more works did that. That said, I'm also glad that some films stuck very, very close to the source material, like Lord of the Rings. But I wish there had been... Okay, sort of close to the source material.
There's no Tom Bombadil.
That's okay. Why would that have fit into the movie?
You know what? There was an AMA on Reddit the other day where they were interviewing Nick Offerman.
Who's that?
Nick Offerman, rather. He's the guy who plays the guy from Parks and Rec. Fucking Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson.
Yeah, he plays Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And I forget what the context for it was, but he was saying, my dream role would be to play Tom Bombadil in the Lord of the Rings movie. And I immediately was so disappointed, like, even more disappointed than I already am about Tom Bombadil being left out of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah.
Disappointed that Ron Swanson didn't get the ability to play Tom Bombadil in a Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah. They could have fit him into The Hobbit with all the other bullshit that they shoved into that piece of crap.
I really enjoy the Hobbit trilogy.
I'm happy for you, Kevin.
I know I'm nearly alone in that.
I'm gonna let you finish. It's okay. You can like bad things.
I do. I like Cheetos and I like the Hobbit trilogy.
Both of those are shit.
Yeah.
Me being like, rah, rah, rah. I like a lot of dumb things too. Like most things with giant robots in them.
My Little Pony.
I do not like My Little Pony anymore. You know this.
Thank God, yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm into. I grew out of that.
Only after making me watch like 6 episodes of it.
Yeah, no, after like, that was an early college, late high school thing. Did I ever tell you why I got out of it?
No.
Because I had a slap in the face of reality that it's never going to be what I want it to be. What? And it's never going to become what I want it to be.
What did you want it to be?
An awesome high fantasy setting, like with a character-based drama with a cool high fantasy background to it. Yeah, I wanted it to be Avatar. Like, it had the potential, actually, with, like, it was kind of the same setup as a bunch of characters doing cool things. The problem was, it's a Hasbro property, and it's made for 7-year-olds, and they don't have to do that because they don't have to. And that's sad.
Hodor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My Little Pony's alright. Like, there's still, like, 2 or 3 episodes that I actually enjoy that I haven't watched it in, like, 3 years, 2 years, 6 months, 2 days.
Well,
no, I jumped off after the season 4 finale, which was last summer.
Yeah. Well, and, I mean, that's probably not also counting all of the pony porn.
That pony porn's weird. I don't want to talk about it. It's weird.
Yep.
That video I made about it was funny, though. I still like that video. It has 1,500 views on YouTube.
Of course.
Gotta monetize that shit.
No, you don't.
No, I
because
don't.
that would be child pornography.
I don't want anyone to see that. Yet 1,500 people have seen that.
Too late.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we used it as one of our show intros.
Yeah.
I think we used it as an intro for our first episode.
That's funny.
For our first podcast episode. I was listening back to that.
You listened to the first episode?
I listened to the first episode of our podcast.
Man, what does it sound like?
You know what? This is actually like a planned segment for this final show, to like play back the first, not like the whole first episode, because God, that would take an hour.
Yeah.
Just that I want to play back, the first, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of our very first episode. Is that okay?
I will temper my expectations.
Yeah, I think
I will settle for mediocrity.
Oh my God, I need to do a bit of tracking because I didn't I stupidly forgot to prepare this as I was doing all the other preparation for the show.
Fair enough.
So I think this lands us almost at the end of the intro, but this is from the What the Hell Did You Expect vault. This is episode 1, entitled Elf Leaning Tendencies. £3 tonight, and here is my trusty steed and co-host, Colin Plead.
I don't think the computer's picking that up, like, at all.
What's up, man? Are you actually going to have tacos when you go home tonight?
If I could tell you right now that I was going to go home and make tacos and eat tacos, I would be the fucking jolliest man. But unfortunately, I do not have the capacity to eat tacos.
It's also worth noting that we didn't have any idea what we were doing, so you can't really hear us very well. So I'm going to skip ahead to a point when you actually can hear our unadulterated voices.
Despite how much time has passed, it sounds the fucking same, Kevin. Like,
Bowling league,
we're still doing the same
yeah,
thing.
These are the people who are going to the Olympics.
So, iron workers from the Deer Hunter.
I mean, more or less, it's the community. It's the Lutheran church group potluck at curling at the Olympics. It is, and when the Americans win, you'll see Marge and Randy and their cousin.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about curling at the Olympics.
Okay, sure.
This is some serious meta shit right now.
I know. We're having our own show play in the background of our show as we're recording our show.
This is... It's a little bit weird for me to think that the person who could be, like, pumping my gas as I drive through Hibbing, Minnesota, could also be going to the Sport Olympics for curling.
You do not have a high opinion of curling people, do you?
No, I love curling. I'm also just tickled by the fact that I said Sport Olympics.
Our irony knows no bounds.
Oh God, that was an interesting foray. I'm glad we did that.
Wow, that's so long.
I know.
It takes me back.
Yeah, that was.
We're not gonna fucking reminisce on our show. God damn it! This is not. That's not what this is about.
No, it isn't. But it is time for late night. So
Yay.
I'm gonna hit you with that really quick.
You salty motherfucker.
Oh my God, I've been waiting to do that for a year now.
Really?
Yeah. No, I knew that on our very last show, I was going to rickroll you for the late night theme. I've known that for a year now.
You've been sitting on that for so long. That's really okay. All right, you got me.
But I feel like we wouldn't be fair to ourselves if we didn't do the actual late night theme one last time. So in fairness to the actual late night theme, something equally as cheesy, to be honest.
I'm gonna miss you, George Michaels.
I guess you don't really have a stream to refresh, so I can just sort of put that down and we'll transition into late
Let
night.
it seep into the mists of the background.
This is actually late night. Like, as I'm playing this, it is 9:57 right now, which would have been approaching the start of showtime, like when we first were doing the show.
Oh, fuck, right,
Like,
yeah.
remember, we used to have the 10 to 11 p.m. time slot on Sundays?
Ugh.
That was interesting.
No, that was,
That was... Yeah, I'm glad we switched to the 8 to 9.
Yeah, it's much more manageable. Jinx, you owe me 5 sodas.
Niet.
No.
No.
Khrushchev said no.
I have no money.
I am Russia.
Remember, nothing is wrong.
There's no problems in Russia.
And now we go to Apple Chernova. Nothing is wrong, especially near a power plant.
Wow. What the hell did you expect?
I actually, that was from it was from like a morning radio show in the 80s, in like the 70s and 80s that I took that from.
Huh.
WMMS in Cincinnati.
Huh.
Yeah, the Buzzard Morning Zoo.
Oh, speaking of zoos, I watched an X-Files episode where aliens abducted farm animals in order to inseminate them and steal their babies. It was weird.
Why?
don't know.
Why wouldn't they abduct humans? To
Okay, so it was funny. I was like, this is weird. This is interesting. And then Mulder's like, maybe it's because they know that we're destroying the planet with like nuclear radiation and fossil fuels, so they're trying to save the animals because they know we'll all be dead soon. And I was like, you didn't have to say that, Mulder. Like, the green Aesop was already in the episode. You didn't have to spell it out for us.
Environmentalist Mulder.
Yeah, it was a little too on the nose. Like, I'm not usually a fan of when people just sort of poke something on the nose when they're trying to bring a point to light in like a show.
I'm just not a fan of environmentalism.
Kevin.
I'll throw my trash straight in the gutter.
Nothing is wrong. Especially in the atmosphere.
Especially with the ozone layer.
There is no hole in the ozone layer in Ba Sing Se.
Apparently, I forget where I was reading this. It actually might have been a completely unreliable source, like Reddit.
Most of the internet is, yes.
But I was reading something that said, if we continue to do like what we've been doing in terms of environmental shit and like keeping our planet healthy and clean and stuff and reducing emissions and everything, projections say that our ozone will be repaired like fully in 2070.
I heard 2060 actually. I've heard that statistic like go around a bit. I'm not entirely sure how true it is. It was also in my textbook for my chemistry class this semester, so I'm gonna go with we're doing okay in that regard. That's not entirely terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't not do like jack shit for all the acid we're dumping into the ocean, but
yeah, or,
you know.
all the icebergs were melting into the ocean as well.
Yeah, maybe that'll like. I don't actually know how much like if we repair the Hozone.
That's what.
Just go like we're flying over the Hozone layer. I can see the prostitutes orgying now.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like the pimp version. Like if there's some sort of weird bubble in prostitution economies.
It's called the Hozone hole.
There's a hole in the Hozone layer. Show title.
And then the client's all like, great, can I stick my dick in it?
Oh dear God.
Because it's a hole. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. Porn is scary. But, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Actually, we shouldn't get into what I've been watching recently.
No, we should not.
Nope.
Nope. Zip up your pants, loyal listeners. We're not talking about that topic.
But that is I feel like that should be our show title, a Hozone layer.
I was just going to call this episode Finale, but that could work.
Yeah. Or you could do finale : Hozone layer. I like that. I think we should stick with that.
Okay, yeah, sure. How do you spell hoe? Like,
H-O?
as a derogatory term for prostitute?
Like,
Is it H-O or H-O-E?
no.
Or
It's
W-H-O? Or H-W-O-E?
No, it's H-O.
H-O? Okay.
Yeah. Isn't synonymous with bitch? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoe.
Okay.
She's a hoe.
Hozone layer. He lays with the hozone.
Jesus. Also, when you said Hozone layer just a second ago,
Yeah.
you sounded like Washington's version of a hillbilly.
Well, you ain't wrong.
Yeah.
Live on a small rural island in the middle of Puget Sound, surrounded by cattle, mists, and rednecks. And lots of junked up cars just in fields. I don't even, it's like almost like a fashion accessory or something.
I wonder, like, at what point does a rusted out, like, 67 Camaro become a piece of installation art?
Well, 67, so that's like 50 years ago. So now.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gotta take a while. Like, if you just... After a while, it becomes like a ruin. Like, do you remember how Kurt Faso used to talk about, like, the romanticism of ruins and things?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we talked about that, like, a few days ago in his romantics class. Too.
yeah, so,
You
like,
know.
right after you, like, drop a car in a field, it's like, man, they're littering. Give it 60 years, it becomes like this architectural artifact of the space that's
Yeah.
been there long enough. It's kind of become part of nature, but it's still, like, fighting against it with its, like, anthropogenicness.
I was looking at pictures a while ago with my girlfriend's parents, because they're both from, like, Central Asia.
Yeah.
But, like, when they were growing up there, it was still the Soviet Union. But I was looking at some pictures of, like, the village they grew up in, pictures of it that were taken, like, a year ago. And, you know, they'd look at the pictures and be like, oh, yeah, and I remember when that old abandoned building that's in the picture right now, I remember when that was, like, actually a military base.
Whoa.
And now it's, like, treated as, like, a ruin, as, like, a tourist attraction that people are paying money to go, like, take a picture
Yeah.
in front of the old military base, which, you know, within Adas's parents' lifetimes, they can remember, oh yeah, I remember, you know, a guy who used to work there, his name was, you know, Vladimir, he did this thing, or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird, because, like, old prisons are kind of that way. I think
Yeah.
Auschwitz is actually a thing you can go pay and visit now, too.
I think so too. I mean, you can do that with Alcatraz.
Yeah.
You can do that with, there are definitely some
You can do that
other
with
places.
Chernobyl now.
Yeah, you can do that with Chernobyl. Because nothing is wrong, especially near the power plant, Colin.
I think someone filmed a horror movie on Chernobyl, like, in the past 5 years. And
I
it was in
wouldn't be
mainstream
surprised.
theaters, too. Like, I don't know how that got in there, but,
I
yeah.
really wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they probably didn't do all of the filming in Chernobyl. They probably just did some of it there. I can't imagine.
It's like some guys, so it's like Shia LaBeouf and Liam Neeson, like, crawling around in some gravel, like, oh, Chernobyl, the radiation, and the camera pans out, and, like, in a back lot behind, like, Universal Studios or something.
Yeah. There's also, this is sort of, like, on the topic of, like, weird, abandoned, almost installation art type things. Oh, fuck, I forget the name of it, but it's in Japan somewhere. There's, like, this old abandoned, amusement park.
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
Yeah.
They're creepy.
That, like, one of my friends from my education class, he did a year abroad in Japan, and apparently he snuck in there a few times and, like, took some pictures, did some graffiti, stuff like that.
Cool. I want to see the photos.
Yeah.
Because that's creepy as fuck. Did you know Japan also has an abandoned prison island?
Is that the Cat Island?
No, they're two different things.
Okay.
I think, actually, no. I'm pretty sure that scene from Skyfall, where they're on, like, that prison-y kind of island place is filmed there.
Yeah, I remember that. Skyfall is the one with Javier Bardem, blonde.
He's
right?
the Joker, right? The blonde Joker guy?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I did
okay.
not like that movie.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been good, but fortunately Idris Elba is pegged to be the next James Bond.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it isn't, like, definite, but that's what they're talking about.
I would love Idris Elba James Bond.
I know.
That'd be so good.
Like, he would be so perfect in that role.
Yeah.
Plus, a black James Bond, like, fucking finally.
I know, right?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I also just have such a hard-on for Idris Elba.
Hey, Idris Elba's great. Every time he shows up in something,
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah, he's
Love
an
you.
excellent actor, and I have so much respect for him.
Mm-hmm.
There's a TV show he does for the BBC. It's on Netflix even. It's sort of like Sherlock.
The Wire?
No,
Pacific Rim?
Luther.
Okay. Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
Yeah, I think I've probably told you about
Yeah.
it before. It's like a detective series, and he's sort of like a crooked cop, doing all of these murder cases in London, and it's really, really well done, and he does such a good job acting in all of those, and you know, although his character is about as far as you can get from James Bond
Yeah.
in that series, I can also totally see from that series how he would be great as James Bond.
Yeah.
Just because there are so many like high intensity actiony scenes in that TV series. So
Yeah. God, that's
yeah,
fun.
go watch Luther. It's a good
Yeah,
show.
I know. I need to talk about just a fraction of the shows that I'm trying to catch up on right now. Is like I'm watching all of Avatar and Korra.
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch all of Steven Universe.
Mhm.
Luther. I'm trying to watch all of the X-Files. Like
Yeah.
I have a lot of digestion to do, as well as like just reading and books and comics and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
I'm just about to get even deeper into the Poetic Edda. Like, I have a lot of Norse mythology that I want to read over the summer.
Awesome.
Like,
Let me know what you
especially-
figure out.
Yeah, especially in preparation for my D&D campaign, because that's all going to be, I mean, not all, but it's going to be pretty steeped in Norse mythology.
Cool.
And, you know, I'm really looking forward to whatever ends up happening with the D&D campaign
Yeah.
over the summer. Oh, by the way, we should talk about, because we never talked about the endings to both of our campaigns.
Okay, I'll go first. They beat up the bad guy and won. No, basically they had the villain sent them out like being like, you are my mercenaries now, and they're like, all right, whatever, go find the princess because I want to marry her to legitimize my claim to the throne, blah blah blah. So they went out, find the princess, and the princess is like, it turns out that there's an ancient ceremonial truth within our like culture that if you challenge a high lord to a bar fight, they, by all the laws of the land, have to give you all their stuff if they lose. Which I totally just pull out of my ass at the last second. But and then like the princess is like, oh, I don't know where the bad guy is. Whatever will I do? So the party was like, we know where the bad guy is, and they led them there. And turns out the bar fight kind of fell through, so they beat up the bad guy and put him like they dragged him in chains to the elven like queen, like threw him before her and was like, here you go. And then they like beat him for information and stuff, and it was great. One of my characters, like we did this like it was a pretty boring standard ending all told, but the aftermath was kind of fun because I talked a little bit about like I had them roll for futures because I'm never gonna play D&D with some of these characters again. So
That's a cool idea.
So like I was like what do you want to do? And so one of the characters, Friedrich, who's a rogue played by Jake Bartman, he wanted money for helping save the kingdom or the empire, and they was like, all right, so here's 500,000 gold from the vaults of the empire. And so he's like, cool, I want to start a pornography crystal pot merchant business, which is where you look into magic crystals and there's porn in them, kind of like iPads, and marijuana just as a thing, because we have a player character who can create marijuana like you can create water. And that business venture went okay. Eventually he got too far into the drug trade though and was shut down by the Imperium, but he pinned it on the other player character who he started it with, and the other player character, Trimet, went to jail. His name's Trimet, yeah. And he got off Friedrich got off scot-free. Whereas Lydia's character, Urag, the orc, was given a tour as her reward for saving the Empire, a tour of the R&D departments within the Empire. Like, cool. And then took the secrets gleaned from that back to Peleron as part of like this industrial espionage mission. So we'll see where that ends up. But
Cool.
yeah, just the characters went their separate ways, all worked out. Raffi's character never showed up again, so just assume she's dead or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
At yours end.
So what happened last time was that Benoit asked the characters to go find some guy working for the Church of St. Cuthbert and to bring him back to a warehouse.
Sketchy.
So they did that, and Benoit has like a chair set up and everything and starts torturing the guy. So at the start of our final session, Benoit gives them each a few packages to dispose of. Which are totally not body parts.
Yeah. Remember that episode of Archer where Krieger gave out those body parts? He's like, put them in these specific locations and they'll make a smiley face on them.
I remember that. But yeah, so he gave out body parts to people to go dispose of, and there were some antics to be had with trying to dispose of body parts in packages. Like Eric went to a butcher shop and tried to do a sleight of hand to switch his package with someone's package of meat, and it didn't work. So he just bought some meat. And then went to a soup kitchen and gave the body parts to the soup kitchen and kept the meat for himself. And so then they come back to the warehouse, and Benoit has put like paper, like thick paper, over all of the windows so it's completely dark. And has a circle of candles in the middle of the floor, and there's this circle drawn in red on the floor around him.
Not ominous. It's a sea bear circle.
I wish I would have thought of that. And I mean, to be fair, the symbol of St. Cuthbert is a circle with a cross in the middle of it in red. And that's what it was. But it also had a bunch of weird druidic clerical markings on it. Like weird characters that no one knew what they were, and it was all in red. Blood. Although that was never made clear. So Benoit is sitting there, and Natalie's character just nopes out of there immediately and goes to a bar. And the other three characters are still there and like, what's going on? And Benoit's like, we have to cleanse the Church of St. Cuthbert because they're all cultists. They all worship Vecna. None of them are clean or pure anymore. Let me mark you as my warriors. And he takes his finger and dips it in the blood and starts marking people. And he gets to Adassa's character, and Adassa's character is like, no, I'm getting out of here. So Benoit paralyzes her wolf animal companion and telekinesis him over to him, and like holds him hostage. Carmela, Adassa's character, burns his hand that he's doing the telekinesis with, and they all start fighting. Like Benoit starts attacking everyone, and as that's going on, a bunch of clerics from the Church of St. Cuthbert come in one door, and then a bunch of guards from the city guard come in the other door, and they all start fighting, and then Benoit, all of his limbs and appendages start to radiate light, and he goes into basically Avatar state, and is like 5 times his normal size and starts attacking everyone with the vengeance of St. Cuthbert. Meanwhile, some guards have dragged Natalie's character out of the bar and are going to the warehouse with her. So this is all happening. Everything's fucking crazy. People are trying to escape, but it's impossible in the middle of that huge fray. Ryu climbs up to a windowsill and makes this really inspired speech to St. Cuthbert, appealing St. Cuthbert for help. Of helping his loyal servant Benoit, and as she finishes the speech, this ray of light just like bursts through the window, like shatters the window and the paper off of it, and this ray of light is cast onto Benoit. And in that moment, as the light is cast onto him, he decreases back in size to his normal size, and his avatar state subsides, and he opens his mouth, and it looks like his spirit flies out through the light shaft in the window, and he dies.
Huh. That's dramatic.
Yeah, and it's unclear whether that was St. Cuthbert taking pity on him by taking him up to heaven, or St. Cuthbert taking vengeance on him for going fucking crazy. So I'm leaving that open to interpretation.
That's fine.
And the clerics kill all of the town guards and say, no one can know that Benoit was ever here. You know, we're sorry that you had to get caught up in all this, but we need one more favor from you. Here's what you have to do. You know, we're wrapping Benoit's body up in a funeral shroud, and you have to take him to the dwarven pilgrimage site of Kimmich, the river the village on the River Rhine in the Eastern Dwarven Empire, which is my plot device for getting those characters to the Eastern Dwarven Empire.
Huh. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that's complicated and exciting. Jeez, a lot of stuff has happened.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Retiring a main character. Ooh.
Yeah, I was a little bit sad to see Benoit go, but I think it was time.
Yeah, fair enough. My next campaign that I want to do is actually quite inspired. I mentioned one previously, I think, at some point, that Lydia and I were up very late one time, rewriting and basically fixing the structural problems of the Legend of Korra in our eyes and making a giant cohesive narrative out of it. And making it actually more of an espionage Captain America the Winter Soldier action hero spy thriller than it was before. And I'm kind of just planning on setting my next D&D campaign in a D&D World Republic City thing, with all of the threads for the shit that happens on Korra set down to happen in D&D, and then I want to... The fun part for me is then watching the player characters kind of fuck with that and see what happens and see what they don't do and see what they do, and I don't know, I want to have that kind of world and play it there. It's a city of warlocks and lots of non-magic users where there's not a lot of people there who would study it, but people who are born with it, and there's this disparity, we're giving rise to the equalists, but there's also this I don't know, it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I'm especially excited to learn 5th edition. Lydia is going to teach
5th is
me
great.
that over, the first month or two of the summer before I start trying to DM a campaign of it myself.
Yeah. I need to buy those books. Or send me PDFs.
The PDFs I found I think are incomplete. But I'm working on tracking down some other PDFs of them that I might have soon.
Cool.
But so that should be fun.
On that note, do you want to wrap up our last show?
Yeah, I think it's time.
I think we've been going for 90 minutes now. It's
not quite 90. We've been going for at least 70 though. So yeah, I think it's about that time. Before we go though, I do have some thank yous. Because we're doing this in KLC's studio with KLC's equipment. So I want to give first a thank you to KLC, not only for allowing us to use their equipment in the studio, but also for trusting us with a completely inane sounding show at the beginning of spring semester, our junior year, in which we proposed to just talk about whatever the hell we wanted to, and they were like, yeah, sure. So thank you to the KLC board, especially including Nick Pimentel and Emily Von Connet.
And thank you so much for not giving us shit for all the times we gave you shit. Because we give you guys a lot of shit.
We really do, but thank you for existing. This is a great platform for all of the students here. I also want to give thanks to our recurring guest hosts, Lee Sheridan, Aaron Graham, Lydia Simmons, and Adasa Bedrevich. Am I forgetting anyone? I feel like there might have been.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
It was just those three that kept coming back in cycles.
And then Adasa came once. And then I also want to mention very quickly that in all of the games of Google or Colin that we ever played.
Yeah.
Adassa is the grand winner at 4 out of 5, so she will receive her prize, which I don't know what that is,
Yeah.
but we'll figure it out. And then finally, I want to thank the people who were sort of the inspiration for doing this. The people at the wonderful TBTL podcast that is still going on in Seattle. It's a wonderful podcast that you should all listen to. It's on the Infinite Guest podcast network, and it is TBTL. That's Too Beautiful to Live, hosted currently by Luke Burbank and Andrew Walshke, or just Andrew Walsh, and previously Jen Flash Andrews and Shanta Torre. I think that's it. Am I forgetting anyone? Is there anyone we should have thanked that I
We should
didn't just
thank your parents for listening to this show.
Yeah, thank you to all of our listeners, both of them. And anyone who listens to this in the future, thank you for taking the time out of your life to listen to two weird college students blather about inane bullshit for an hour a week.
Yeah, like these episodes are going on my YouTube channel, which hypothetically will exist till the end of my life.
And probably beyond.
Probably. So if you just happen to find this, like, enjoy it, I guess, and show the world and make us internet death famous, because that'd be really cool.
Yeah, somehow I feel like that's really not going to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty unlikely.
I don't know. We could have some sort of weird cult following in like 200 years. What the hell did you expect? We'd be like a total brand. There will be like T-shirts made of I don't know what would they make T-shirts about
like I don't know, our dumb catchphrases or something, or episode titles.
What are our dumb catchphrases?
I don't know.
I mean, they might be like a case closed T-shirt.
Only because we won't fucking let that die.
Still my favorite show title.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, thank you, loyal listeners, or even disloyal listeners.
Or future listeners who haven't been born yet.
Yeah. And this has been a great experience. I'm really glad we got to do a radio show together.
Yeah, this is really fun. I've had a lot of
2
fun
years.
with this. Yeah.
This has really been great. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do another one someday, somehow.
Yeah.
Through the magic of like the internet or something.
There might be every once in a while, like when we get together, we might have to do like a hidden episode sort of deal.
Yeah.
Where we record something. I don't know how we would end up doing that, but I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll find a way. We'll get real equipment with real money.
Yeah, right.
Who knows? I might.
Yeah,
I could use it for stuff.
Hey, yeah, if that's what you're into. But anyway, this has all been great. We really appreciate the opportunity to do this, and thank you for listening.
Good night and good luck.